God, it's Umi Jenevieve, Lace in Space, Constellations on LSD. Thanks for tuning in. You could have been anywhere else and you decided to be here with me. So I always want to show gratitude, always want to show appreciation. I always want to let you guys know that I'm so, so grateful that you're rocking out here with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the confirmations. Thank you for the sessions. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So today I wanted to do trying to check. I did a video prior to this with the degree theory. So I'm gonna keep the flow going. I'm gonna keep the juices going. So I wanted to do a transit check with the moon. Around 3:15 p.m. Eastern time zone, the moon should move into Cancer. For the last 2.5 days, the moon has been in Gemini. So when the moon is in Gemini, we already know things don't go as planned, having to go back to the drawing board, making sure you have options, long distance travel, short distance travel, and just the medium between that, since Gemini does connect to short distance travel, but it can ask you, like, this short distance, will it turn into a road trip? So that will ask you that as well. This is also a time to reunite, especially since we're in Leo season, reunite with family members, cousins, siblings, childhood friends, go into certain neighborhoods, go into certain cities, towns, where you're like, hey, you bump into someone that you haven't seen in a while, associates. So this was, and Leo loves Gemini. It's a sextile. So this could have been a very nice weekend for just sharing with your community and having a good time with your community, eating good, having some in-depth talks, cracking some jokes, just being able to operate in your inner child, since both of these placements are so big on, you know, that self-expression. Now that the moon is going to move into Cancer, it's going to get a little serious. So it's going to be things like cardinal, things don't go, starting new projects, finalizing paperwork, getting ready for any type of, you know, obligations that are necessary, meetings, deadlines are on the table. So you're gonna feel a sense of deadline pick up as we move into later today, 3:15 p.m. Eastern time zone. I'm on the East Coast on my end, and look to see where that is for you, like universal if you're in Pacific, if you're in Central. Now the moon is still in the energy of family, you know, you're nostalgic, you're immediate, like from the Gemini, your early habitats. But it goes from this playful and even adaptable, flexible energy to something a little rigid. And I'm not saying Cancer placement is in a way where I say rigid in a negative way. It's just more, it gets serious. It's an energy of leadership. It's the energy of knowing that you have to start, like, where you naturally understand, like, have emotional awareness, and you can read the room, and you can start to feel like it's time for me to get everybody underneath the roof organized. You're centering the home, and it's still a fixed season, so there's things you want to purchase for the home, and maybe you purchased for the home yesterday. Maybe it's time for you to get some new bed sheets, time for you to get some new appliances, time for you to get some, you know, even clean up and just change the whole feng shui and the ambiance of the home. It picks up the same way today. You also have to look at the long-term planning of the home as well, so where you're just laying everything out on the table and seeing what is going to be the best for the future of your family. Or just this home environment, this home space, your nesting, your sanctuary. This configuration with Leo and Cancer medically is a configuration to watch around for your thoracic, your chest area. Just having Leo and Cancer placements in your chart together, especially in your big three or your personal planets, can open up things like heart murmurs, heart palpitations, just being conscious of this this area, your lungs. So just taking care of that, or just being in environments, just being conscious of environments that could trigger that. And if you're just feeling that for the next 2 days, 2.5 days, two days, it's going to move into, oh, no, 2.5 days. We're not near Virgo season yet. Going to start to feel that. It's going to be also important for you to connect with the feminine, connect with your womanhood, connect with other women as well. Since today has a strong probability to want to connect with your emotional tribe. The spaces that your the tribe, the community that makes you feel emotionally safe, valued. It is a moody moon, so it's okay if you're in the mood, especially if you have cardinal energy, Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn. This moon can push you to feel like, it's time for me to get some things going. There's some pressure building up. How can I hurry up and put this all together? So there is a sense of urgency that does come in for the cardinals, especially Cancer. But also Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn. There is an urgency that comes into the moon. Like when the moon was in Gemini a few hours ago, like earlier today. And for those 2.5 days, 2 days prior, it was centering the mutables. So Gemini, Virgo, Pisces, Sagittarius were the last 2.5 days. Center just the things around you, and just where that sense of urgency, that sense of overthinking, anxiousness, where your sense of having to be flexible, having to think positive and give yourself positive affirmations to know that you will do better even if you fall back and you double back on certain things. It's also wanting you to share with your community within those 2.5 days, and communicate with those you feel like are similar to where you process things. And now it's shifting to the cardinals, and then after the cardinals, it'll shift into the fixed signs. So as we move into, just want to make sure. So on August 20th, the moon will move into Leo, and it will center the fixed signs again. And that should be pretty fun. The moon is fun. It's fun in the energy of like Leo. It's a festive placement, but it's also a placement that can get you a little emotionally riled up. Because you feel like you're not being seen, or you're not being fully valued. And that's the thing with just having fire moons. You can have high highs, low lows. And in Leo, your self-esteem and your sense of worth is identified to the moon. And the moon is shifty, so it goes back and forth. So up and down. So Leos can feel like that's where their sense of a moon in Leo can feel like there's such a sensitivity to, feeling emotionally safe and seen. So this moon can open that up. Has probably opened that up. The last time we were in moon in Leo was July 24th, and that was a new moon. And if any of you could go back to where July 24th, especially if you have fixed placements, where it could have got a little riled up around that time. And even during the full moon, August 8th to August 8th, so 8th to 9th, and how you could have felt similar around that time, since the moon was in Aquarius. So it could give a similar polarity, a similar feeling because of that polarity. This one can get you a little worked up, but guess what you do by the end of the day? You do something that is about valuing you, celebrating you, prioritizing you, even if it's completely indulgent. So this is a fun moon. And that's just what happens every time we leave cardinal placements, because cardinal moons are serious for a reason. Like the cardinals are all about, okay, let's have a good time and let's enjoy ourselves, but let's also make sure we are celebrating in success. Like we're celebrating in going forward. So that's why they're such great leaders. And this is a leadership moon. So in the next 2.5 days, it's going to call for someone to really step up and lead the way. So as we move to 3 p.m., 3:15 p.m. later today, it's okay if you feel that shift, especially around like 2:45, 2:50, like the end tail of 2 p.m. You're gonna feel like this pressure because the moon is shifting. Eastern time zone, the moon is shifting to Cancer. So hold your horses, let the energy flow. So you may need it to flow. You may feel like you don't feel comfortable in this moon shift until almost 5 p.m. Eastern time zone, because we needed to get out of 0 degrees of Cancer and get into 1 degree. So by 5 p.m. towards 6 p.m. Eastern time zone, and just check your current planets. The moon will come into now have moved into 1 degree, some sort of base, so you don't feel like you're just floating and you're in limbo. And during that time, so between 3:15 till about 5 p.m., sit still, evaluate what you're about to do, what's your next steps. Don't pressure yourself. Having a cardinal moon, these people put a lot of pressure on themselves, placeholders, that they have to just emotionally just pull through. Even if they're sad, mad, even if they're going through anything, they just have to like push through. And why is life always like this emotional challenge, or not being able to relax as you execute such big plans? And for that moment, before we hit 5 p.m. Eastern time zone, just really hold space. Let the mutable energy go do what it do. Let the thought processes flow. Write, pull out your journal, speak out the things that you're conflicted on. Search up some things. Research some things that are bothering you, instead of trying to process and find your own diagnosis, like your own conclusion. As we flow through this Gemini energy and get to Cancer and have degrees there, take in not leaning on your own understanding, and especially for that moment, and just open up yourself to different avenues that can give you an answer. Because the anxious placement, it's the energy of the twins. So it doesn't even want you to process this all by yourself. It wants you to find relatability through others and see what they can offer you when it comes to an idea, a perspective. Now, if you're alone, do this with yourself. If you're with people, sit and hold space and just talk. Talk to yourself, talk to your community, and then flow into Cancer. And then you'll just start to feel this drive. So later tonight, some of y'all might be staying up a little later than usual. Since the moon was going to come into Cancer, I mean, some of you guys maybe woke up later than usual. And if you did feel like you woke up early, you needed to rest in between this period, because it could have opened up waking up early as well, very early today, especially those who have cardinal placements. But then you needed to rest, and you might feel like you pick this energy back up around 5 p.m. Eastern time later tonight, which can give you like a little insomnia. And that could happen for the next 2.5 days. Whenever the moon is in cardinal, it does that, because you got work to do. Why relax? We don't need to rest. We're focusing on certain things right now that can be on deadline for August 20th. Literally watching the transits will let you know. And for everyone, why August 20th is an important day. So moon transits. Appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. Thank you for always showing the support.